My landlord knocked on my door asking, "How long have two families been living here? I live alone." I froze when my landlord, Mr. Chen, knocked on my apartment door at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. He never visits unannounced, and he definitely doesn't show up at night unless something's seriously wrong. "How long have two families been living here?" he asked, not even saying hello first. His face was red, and he was holding his phone up like he had evidence of something. I laughed nervously. "Mr. Chen, I live alone. You know that. Just me." He shook his head and turned his phone toward me. "Then explain this." It was my electric bill. The usage had tripled in the last 2 months. Then he showed me the water bill, which had somehow quadrupled. "Someone is using a lot of water and electricity in this unit. Either you're running some kind of operation in here, or you've got people living with you that aren't on the lease." My stomach dropped. I hadn't noticed my bills were that high because they just auto-pay from my account every month. I don't really check. "I swear I live alone," I said. "Can I see those bills?" He handed me his phone and I stared at the numbers. They were insane. Like multiple families washing clothes and showering and cooking around the clock level of insane. "Mr. Chen, I work 50 hours a week. I'm barely home. I don't even cook most nights. I have no idea what's going on." He crossed his arms. "I'm going to need to inspect the unit. Right now." I stepped aside and let him in. My apartment looked exactly how I left it that morning. One coffee mug in the sink. My laptop on the couch. Nothing out of place. We walked through every room together. The bedroom, the bathroom, the tiny kitchen. Everything was normal until we got to the closet in the hallway where the water heater sits. Mr. Chen opened it and went completely still. Behind the water heater, there was a hole in the wall. Not a small hole. A person-sized hole that had been carefully cut and covered with a piece of drywall that wasn't attached to anything. He pulled the drywall panel away, and we both looked through the opening. It led directly into the apartment next door, the one that had been vacant for 3 months. My blood ran cold. Someone had been coming through my apartment to access the empty unit next door. They'd been living there, using the water and electricity that ran through my unit's meter. Mr. Chen immediately called the police. While we waited, I started noticing things I'd ignored before. Sometimes I'd come home and my deadbolt would be unlocked even though I always lock it. I'd find the bathroom light on when I knew I'd turned it off. Once I thought I heard footsteps above me, but I'm on the top floor. When the officers arrived, they went into the vacant apartment and found a whole setup. Mattresses on the floor, a hot plate, clothes hanging on a makeshift line, and trash bags full of food containers. Someone had been living there, and they'd been accessing it by crawling through the wall in my closet, probably while I was at work. The officers said it looked like at least 4 people had been staying there based on the belongings. They'd probably been watching my schedule and sneaking through when they knew I'd be gone. They found the people 2 days later, 3 buildings over, trying the same thing in another vacant unit. Turns out they'd been doing this all over the complex for months, finding empty apartments and cutting through walls to access them from occupied units where the utilities were still running. Mr. Chen fixed the wall and refunded my utility bills. He also changed my locks and installed a security camera in my hallway. But now I hear every single sound in my apartment. Every creak, every shift, every unexplained noise makes me check that closet door. Because for 2 months, strangers were crawling through my wall while I slept, and I had no idea.